Radko Gudas is once again in the spotlight after delivering what many are calling another gutless hit, this time taking out the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And unfortunately, the victim this time was none other than Auston Matthews. Let's break down exactly what happened. Police cars revolving light the hit. Thursday night, the Leafs were trailing 3-2. William Nylander picked the puck up along the boards and delivered a beautiful saucer pass to a wide-open Matthews in the slot. Matthews had a golden scoring opportunity. But before he could get the shot off, Gudas came flying in. Matthews tried to move around him, and that's when it happened. Gudas stuck out his knee and caught Matthews knee on knee. Matthews immediately went down. And if you watch the replay, it's hard to see this as anything other than intentional. Hospital injury update. One of the first things people noticed was that Matthews doesn't usually stay down after hits. But this time, he needed help getting off the ice. That was the first sign something was really wrong. Then came the update. The Leafs later confirmed that Matthews suffered a grade 3 MCL sprain. Which means Gudas didn't just injure Matthews. He tore his MCL. That injury will keep Matthews out for the rest of the season. It's better than an ACL tear, sure, but it's still a devastating blow. Warning sign # the call on the ice. Officials immediately assessed Gudas a 5-minute major penalty and game misconduct. And honestly, that part felt like the correct call. The replay shows Gudas leaning directly into the collision and leading with his knee. This wasn't a normal hockey play. It was a textbook knee-on-knee hit, the kind that almost always leads to injury. Grimacing face Leafs' lack of response. But the controversy didn't stop with the hit. Because after Matthews went down, not a single Leafs player stepped in to defend him. Not one. And that's where a lot of fans started getting angry. It's one thing for a star player to get cheap-shotted. But for your team captain to get taken out like that, and nobody responds, that's a bad look. Even Leafs coach Craig Berube and defenseman Morgan Rielly admitted after the game that the lack of response wasn't good enough. Rielly even said the team should have stepped in sooner. Which honestly just raises another question. If you know that, why didn't it happen in the moment? Boxing glove, at least someone responded. To be fair, there was some pushback later in the game. Rookie Easton Cohen stepped up in the third period after a high hit on Nylander and dropped the gloves. That kind of response was nice to see. But many fans believe that reaction should have come immediately after Matthews got hit. Scales # suspension decision. Now let's talk about the punishment. Gudas had a hearing with the NHL Department of Player Safety. The result? 5-game suspension. 5 games is actually the maximum penalty allowed without an in-person hearing. Which raises a big question. Why wasn't this an in-person hearing? For comparison, the famous knee-on-knee hit by Matt Cook on Tyson Barrie back in 2014 resulted in a 7-game suspension. So many fans feel like 5 games for this incident is simply not enough. Fire agent calls out NHL. Things got even more heated when Matthews' agent, Judd Moldava, publicly criticized the NHL's Department of Player Safety. He said, and this is a direct quote, "The Department of Player Safety should be suspended." Now that's obviously a strong statement. But the frustration behind it is understandable. The Department of Player Safety, currently led by George Parros, has been criticized for years over inconsistent rulings. Some fans joke that the department just spins a wheel to decide suspensions. And honestly, sometimes it feels that way. Hockey stick and puck back to the game. Despite everything that happened, the Leafs actually managed to rally. With Matthews out, interim captain John Tavares tied the game on the power play. Nylander then gave Toronto the lead early in the third period. And later, Bobby McMann scored short-handed, his first goal with the Leafs and his first NHL goal in years. Finally, Alexander Kerfoot sealed the win with an empty net goal. The Leafs snapped their 8-game losing streak. Medium White Star standout performance. Another standout player was Matias Maccelli. He had a 3-point